What is up, beautiful people? I can't be the only person that's noticed that since the war in Israel started, all the BBC threads, all the useless posts have disappeared from 4chan's poll. And that got me thinking. So, we know for a fact there's something called the JDIF, which is the Jewish Internet Defense Force, or JIDF. It's the Jewish Internet Defense Force, right? We know that the internet is comprised of a whole host of paid shills, right? The vast majority, probably, of the people you interact with outside of, specific channels, any sort of generalized website, you take your Reddits, take your 4chans, take your 9geeks, whatever you want it to be, your Gaia Online, your, Neopets, wherever you're interacting with people. It's very likely you're interacting with a paid DNC, paid Soros shill. And the evidence is on display right now during the war. You can literally see the quality of the internet just quintuple in a few short days when these people are no longer at their terminals working for, George Soros. When the paid shills now are working overtime to try and, justify how Israel's going to take another, couple miles of territory somewhere. Whatever the case may be. Now we can really see that the internet is truly bought and paid for, that our communications, that we as a society, that the way we talk to each other, that how we spread memes is corrupted fully by the corporate complex. And it's a sad thing because I love me some good old memes. And memes die where corporations begin. Memes die where government begin. Memes die where the left begins. And that's just the sad truth. And when they're removed, when, you take away all of these horrible things, the internet is alive again. It feels like the 2000s internet for a short while. I wish every day could be War in Israel Day. Unironically. Not because I want Israel destroyed, not because I want death, violence, and destruction. Those are benefits, but not the particular reason. But because it improves online discourse. Because of all of these paid shills shifting their attention to try to justify Raytheon or whoever, whichever corporation now in the military-industrial complex is dropping its bombs, could say, bombs over Baghdad in a sense. Now when they're changing their tune to justify that, to work towards that, now us memers can enjoy the internet for a little bit. And just a little bit. I'm sure come a week from now, come a few days from now, we'll have to return to the era of sliding, of all of these horrible things that these corporate shills, these pathetic people that take 5 cents an hour to sit there and clickety-clack on their little keyboards about how we're all equal, how progressive values are inevitable, how bad white people are. And they're going to spread that message. They're going to spam that message for ad nauseum forever. Because the internet is effectively dead. The internet has been dead for a while. Most of the people you communicate are either AI bots or they're paid shills. And it's so apparent now, if you just look at the discourse that isn't related to war or involved in the war, you can see a tremendous amount of it is all just fabricated. And it's manufacturing a viewpoint. And that's the entire purpose of it, is to manufacture consent for this war, right? You can literally see the machinations of the great Soros machine, the head of the lizard just slithering on by, directing internet discourse in the way it needs to be. And if you just simply sidestep that, you can find that the internet and people in general, the real people, are still there. The real people with real opinions trying to make themselves heard. And it's a sad thing to imagine all of these voices, all of these memes that have been drowned out by this horrible corporate shenanigans throughout the years, how our media, our communication platforms, whatever social media we consume, how defiled it is, how foul everything is because of this influence. I want nothing more in my life than to return to the early 2000s internet, to back before all of this horrible, corporate shilling went on. And I really hope we protect the next big thing, the thing you can get into in the future, the way you can interact with real people again without this sort of specter of corporate America, the global homo agenda reigning over you and trying to psyop you into, believing that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself or whatever else other bullshit they're trying to spew, right? And let's be clear here, this all is just some psyops, some political, BlackRock, God knows whatever, Vanguard, CIA, ESG-infused garbage that's just being peddled to try and, feed people the mind control slop, right? And if you just remove that, the internet's still good. Like, you can see it now as the war is going on. You can see how good things can be, And it's such a white pill to see that that's what the underbelly of the internet actually is. That still exists under there. We just need to pry it out, and we just need to, remove. There needs to be some sort of legislation, some sort of global agreement to just let the internet be the internet again. It's never going to happen. It's a pipe dream on top of a pipe dream on top of a floating unicorn, right? It's a wish among a wish among a wish. But I am allowed to dream. I'm allowed to have my wishes. And I'm sure there are probably underground communities that are still decent, but none of them have the population. Like, I get it, small communities, if you want friends, if you want to have an enjoyable life, you want small, long-time friends, right? You want a place that isn't that popular. You want people that aren't that popular, but you want the quality of the discourse to be very high. And this more than ever proves it. And when we see all of the, Jewish Internet Defense Force being paid double time to go work on something else, when we see these resources being shifted away from policing memes to, pushing the current big message. The same thing happened with Ukraine, by the way, when the Ukraine war started. Those first few days were so good for memes. The internet was alive. I could see it. It shined through all of the horrors of, the daily Soros grind. It was great. And, maybe World War III won't be that bad. Maybe, just maybe, all of these paid shills will be hiding in bunkers instead of out posting on God knows what. And maybe, just maybe, it'll be an enjoyable world. We'll see. I can hope, though. And, just pay attention. Use them eyes to see. And use them ears. Dodge the shills. Dodge the psyops. Don't let them mind control you. Because that's what their goal is. You can reason through anything. Just all of this stuff, just by default, is not true. If it was true, then it wouldn't be propaganda. They wouldn't need to propagandize to you. So with that, I bid you adieu, and you enjoy the fireworks, because I am loving it. Peace.